Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. How we doing out there? Today is January 30th, 2025. Another day, another Python learning session. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening so far. Waking up here. Got some cherry coke to boost our spirits. Let's get some wait for some people to roll in here. Hello, Mahan. Welcome. Welcome back, Mahan. It's awesome to hear from you again. Our class is going. Hope all is well. All right, so I first think I want to start off with working on the project today. We already finished chapter 8 in the book, and we have some practice problems that we can go over and do a couple of these. But I want to start off with warming up with some work on the project here because we've got a lot of work to do. So we need to chip away at this quite heavily this month because honestly, you guys, it's time for us to kind of get this project done with and moving. We are almost there, not like entirely. It's always can be continued and such, but we have gotten the structure kind of outlined to a point where we now can start actually pushing some sort of project here to the public once we kind of fine tune a little bit more. We have and now we have an items class, an expense class, a business class, and a main file, right? So if you guys recall, the expense or the item class just is on an individual item basis. It takes in and creates items that a business would sell. So you have item numbers, a name, size, cost, and a date created, which is on instantiation. And then these are those required attributes. But then behind the scenes, we have some other things like date listed, listing price, date sold, sold price, um, and all that jazz. So it's really has all these variables here. Michael, I want to ask viewers what kind of field they're coming in. Yeah, for sure. We'll get some people in here. We'll see what everybody's up to. Okay, yeah, so, and then we have an expense class where this is creates expenses on an individual basis, and we have, um, I think we agreed upon having, converting the item class over to a JSON file. Ooh, okay, so this is what we're gonna have to do. Let's go delete this. Let's go that, like that, that's fine. Then let's go into our main. Let's go to load file, type items.json. Then we'll go here and make an edit and add in right here. So the thing that's going on right now is let's do this. Let's try to get it to work with just let's not remove any functionality out of the items per se right now, but let's just try to get it to work with items.json here. So let's go quote items.json. And then we'll go here like that for the and or the or here. All right. Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Welcome in. Welcome in. How are we everybody feeling? Welcome to the stream. We're working on the Small Business Manager project right now. Just getting some warm up here before we dive into some practice problems in these Python. In data structures and algorithms in Python before we dive into some of these practice problems at the end of chapter 8. We're just getting a little bit of warm up here, working on our project, converting our items into JSON format here. So now if we have items JSON with open type and read mode as file, return loaded, right, which is that. return loaded items, which is where loaded items is where um oh, here. So it's just an empty dictionary, right? Okay. Hey, Leanne, welcome in. Hello, hello to you. How you doing out there? What you got? What you guys working on? What are we studying tonight for you guys? Are you guys watching along here? You guys doing some homework? What are classes? How are classes going? If you're in school, what are you studying in your classes? What's hard? What's easy? You guys got any hot dates lined up? What's new with you guys? What's going on? Haley, and yeah, welcome in. Wing Hong, welcome in. I watched this 7-year-old do leak code problems on YouTube. I think he's 7-year-old doing leak code in C++. Jeez. I got this on my recommended. Hello, Andrew. I appreciate you coming in. Hopefully, I pronounced that correctly. If I did not, please help me out and give me a pronunciation. But welcome in. Yeah, welcome. We've been studying ourselves Python here for the past 6 months. For those that are new, my name is Michael. Welcome in. I'm 26 years old. I have a Bachelor of Science in Human Biology and a minor in Chemistry. I graduated back in 2021. I'm a working professional as a formulation chemist for a biotech company. I make biological controls. Um, yeah, I've been doing that ever since. I've been trying to just learn new things, and I'm really fascinated by computer science, and we've kind of just been really enjoying learning it and practicing it and making things. And so we've kind of developed a new hobby here with computer science. I've been, sharing my journey along with this whole time. So I've been tracking and streaming my entire process from nothing to here we are today. And I didn't know a single line of code before, and now we've been writing a whole entire project by ourselves, or with the help of chat, obviously. But as a group here, as a team, as a community, we've been writing this project, and it's like live. It's been awesome. We read books. It's awesome. Welcome everybody. Um, hey Yasir, welcome. Awesome to hear from you. Thanks for stopping in tonight. Hey Eclipse, welcome. How you doing? Doing homework? Yeah. Math, finance. Andre, got you. My bad. Hello, Andre. Welcome in. Does my name ring a bell? Andre Markov. I feel bad. Is it supposed to ring a bell? Hey, Perplex. How's it going? Welcome. What's OpenCV? I've never heard of it. You mind sharing? Hey, Juan. Welcome in. How's it going? Everybody's stopping in tonight. Awesome to hear from you guys. My name is a famous guy. Oh, well, sorry, my bad. My bad, Andre. All right, so now we're actually doing items.json. So that's the load file as the previous items. But what we're doing here is we were creating an object for each one, right? So when we were doing CSV with items.csv in our load file function here, we are basically, I removed these placeholders, so let's remove them actually. We are, accessing each individual item in the rows and in the column, I mean, for each column and creating that item. So it's interesting how I'm doing that. So then if we are wanting to just do JSON, it will just load in the previous loaded JSON as a dictionary of whatever. So, okay, then let's try to incorporate that into the save file function we have as well. Hey, Matt. Welcome in, Matt. How's it going? Good to hear from you. Lyco wasn't here. Well, I believe you are here, my friend. What are you planning to build with Python? Right now, we're building the Small Business Manager. We built a few projects so far in our small time together so far, but we are hoping to continue on, right? We are building a small business manager, so we take in items, we take in expenses, and then we overall have like information pertaining to the business as a whole. And then, we have a main script here to kind of hop through different menus within the client or the CLI here, sorry, um, and like the terminal, and yeah, it's kind of cool. So I can give a little short demo here, but actually I broke my function here, so we have to. No, I didn't break it. It should work because I still am running off that save from the item. So this is the Small Business Manager 1.0 by Michael Deming. Hopefully soon. We worked on a GUI here. We can maybe convert over to GUI, GUI in the later iterations of the project. Um, but we are currently just working with this now. So we go in. Oh, yeah. So we uh, we have that we broke our program because we're trying to convert over to JSON now. So the load file here, the items expenses are JSON. So we are doing start menu because we're doing items dot JSON. That's load file. So then let's go. We need to go to the save file before we can really give this a demo because we need. Or did we do the save files? This is items dot JSON. Let's put this in here as well. Right, and then that will do all that. That'll dump. So now, cool. So then what's happening? Let me look up, let me command F in my program, look up save file. Where are we saving everywhere in our program here? So items dot JSON, save file items dot JSON. I mean, we probably could go like this actually, take the previous one, the whole thing, and convert them all over. Can we take this whole thing and go like this? Rename symbol. Or is it only going to rename just the symbol? No, I don't want to do that. Rename symbol. No, it's only going to do the symbol. Yeah. Items dot JSON, business JSON, expenses, save file, business items JSON. Okay. So now if we give this a go, what happens here? We should open a items JSON file on launch here. Okay, now this was generated. Cool, perfect. So let me clear up some of this so we can get this out of the way. Perplex says, just a good library known for artificial intelligence and computer vision. Awesome. Well, I'll have to check that out. I have been wanting to get into computer vision in the future. All right. I didn't want to use replace all there because I didn't know I'm calling items the quote items a lot in other places as well, so I didn't know exactly where to make those edits. So now we have the file generation. So let's go ahead and see what's happening when we create a file, when we actually create an item though, right? So we need to go to the generation of items. So run add item here. Cost, size, date created, set quantity. We get those from the user. We create a new item and we save those in JSON. Okay, cool. So it should still work here. So let's go into inventory, add item, item name, test, item 1. cost 10, size medium, date yes, quantity, we'll say we have one of these. Let's go add item, let's add another one, test item 2, cost, let's say this one was 50, size large, today's date yes, quantity, let's say we have 2 of these. Let's go here. Okay, so that's not saving a, well, that's the items.json, which is just giving revenue here. So the saving isn't happening appropriately. It opened all my functions here. Let's go save file here. Items JSON, we open that one. We write okay, now we're doing else. So now we need to add elif type. I mean, we can match another case here with type, right? So we could say match type underscore with case of expenses JSON, like so. We'll say case here business JSON, and then like so, and then case quote items JSON. We do pretty much this function again here, but I mean we could probably, so we have the type is this, so we could just put type, so here business JSON or items.json here, and then go type right, because the type is provided as a stir in the save file. Because I call save file on with this quote. Yeah, okay. So we can just put in type on the file and just remove that altogether. So now let's see if that'll work. So let's command Control C out of this to run. Yes. Okay, so now we have stir attribute. Okay, here we go. So we're working here on start menu. Trying to create a business class on the initialized revenue if date item date sold. Stir object has no attribute date sold. Okay, what's going on here? So line 13 in business is JSON. It's trying to initialize revenue. So what's the error here? Attribute has no date sold. Okay, because it's now, okay, I got you. So now we need to, do we need to basically, because now it's not detecting individual items anymore, it's detecting JSONs. So how can we deal with this? Right, before, when we initialize revenue, it was able to access the item date sold in the business class. Remember, in the business class we wrote on instantiation of this object, each time to like reload the user's business information, we generate the current revenue, when at the basically where the user saved and exited. So it updates for the revenue at that time, and then for each sale we call update revenue within the program. So we have attribute error if item date sold on initialized revenue. So, which is here. This is the thing that's throwing us, because it's accessing all items. So this would have to be item quote date sold like this to access the dictionary object within JSON. Because we're accessing because we need to save this is a lot harder trying to fix this than having started with it, I will admit. So in our item class, we're not doing anything in there. It's all in string indices must be integers, not stir. So it's a string. Item is a string. What's going on here? So in our business class, we are accessing the all items that this just gets loaded in after it gets saved and loaded in the load file. We are using the items method on that dictionary. So what happens if I let me see, I need to do some debugging, I guess. So let's try to go up to the start here, and that's after we load, because this calls main menu, so we have to do it within main menu because it clears terminal here. So before we need to do some investigating here. Let's say print all items at this point in time, but we're not even going to get into the program though. So then let's just well, I don't really know what to do here. Broke my own program. All right, so we are trying to. Okay, what is happening when we are loading? Right, we're if there's no files, and we're just gonna load and receive an empty dictionary off the jump. So right off the bat in our items.json, there should be nothing in there because it shouldn't even really exist. And we're returning this value. So that gets returned here. And then in here, it's trying, no, in this function, it's trying, I'm sorry, no, in line 31, where we create the business, on instantiation of the business, it's trying to access item number for key value. Let's just go like this. Comment this. print print item. See what happens here. Yes. Okay, so that printed item, individual item, was empty. So what if I go here and print business.all. I'd have to give class, I guess, to give. There's no self.all items here. Now if I run here, ooh, get the empty dictionary. Okay, so now it's trying to access in the business. It has a if item so we just need to manipulate how we're saving then. So in the save file, we're returning an empty. So I guess in the business class then we need to say like this. Ooh, hold on. Bring this back, say if item number, if item date sold, then do that, right? Return revenue. So now let's see what happens here if we run here. Okay, we get in still. So now let's see if we go inventory, add item, test, 1, medium, yes, 1. Okay, items.json, quote items.json. Why is it saving items.json? Oh, so it's dumping type. Oh, okay. We don't want to go to the file. Type as file. Oh, okay, I see what I did wrong here. So we'll go, we still need that third case then for quote items.json. JSON, we'll just pretty much take this guy here, bring it here. This is going to be all expenses. This is going to be all items, like so. Okay, so now if we run yes, go 5, yes, boom. Okay, that's because we have this thing. Don't want to do that, sorry. Get rid of this, we don't want to save the expenses in there. So then my expense class, I am trying to, how am I setting up the representation, right? How am I setting up the, where am I doing this? Update, no update, get details, return self-dict. Am I get details? Because I call business to dict here. Okay, let's just see what happens, I guess. Yes. Let me go back to my business class. Remove that, or let me go up to my main, sorry. Remove this print here for the debug. Don't need that. Go, let's relaunch. Inventory, add item, test, 1, medium, yes, 1. Okay, so now we got this. Items JSON, we dump all items onto the file with an indent of 4. Chunk, for chunk not iterable. We got object type item is not JSON serializable. Okay, we've dealt with this before. How did we deal with this with the expense class? How did I deal with this with the expense class? So when I generate an expense, what am I doing? Forgot. Right, I'm adding just a new expense. Okay, and then I'm calling all expenses. I'm setting the item number, the expense number, to a string. Okay. I'm calling all expenses, setting the expense number as the key, and the new expense dictionary as get details. From get details here, which in my expense class, get details returns self_dict. So in my items class here, we need to do def get details. I mean, we could probably just copy this function. What am I doing? It's not even anything though. It's just, yeah, it's just this little one. Item class. We'll call this like so. So then we'll pretty much copy this in its entirety. Go up to our add item. Here, right? Here, paste all items, item number, new item dot number, and then new item dot get details. So this will work because I'm accessing it, but then in my expense function though, for add expense, I'm calling stir on that. Item number. Like that. So let's see if it'll work with just a number as a key in JSON. I'm not sure. I think I had to use a string last time. Okay, let's go in, inventory, add item, test, 1, medium, yes, quantity 1. Okay, items.json. Aha. All right, we got it working. Woo! Here we go. All right, bear with me. Gotta get Crinkle Bag over here. Get some nerds out of here. My bad. All right, we're going to reward ourselves with some nerds. Okay. What are you guys studying? We got quite a few people in here. Not a lot of chats going on though. Let me know what you guys are studying. What are you guys working on? You guys just watching the project here? If so, let me know. And what you guys got any ideas I should implement? Suggestions? I'm all ears. I'm about learning and learning alongside you guys. So let me know. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. Cool. The gummy ones, bro, has taste. Yeah. They're really like fruity. 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 Okay, cool. So now we have that being saved appropriately. So then what happens if I go main menu, inventory, find edit item by item number, part item number 1. Okay, here we go. So I'm calling this so we got to go here. Hello, Critty Crucies. I appreciate you coming in. I'm just creeping on you under the table. No worries. Did you pay for the CS 100 course? I never took a CS 100. I'm assuming you mean CS 50. And no, I would highly suggest you do not pay for the CS 50 course, as the certificate really does not provide you any benefit in the real world. The content is all the same between the free and the paid version. There is no benefit, in my opinion, to getting the certificate. It will not provide you any leg up in a job or anything. It's a very low level accreditation, or whatever, however you pronounce that. But it's a great course. We're taking it right now, nonetheless, right? We're taking it right now, CS50X, live on the channel. So if you're wanting to follow along with a live, person doing a CS50 course, I'm doing the CS50X course, their intro to computer science course right now. We just completed week 4 lecture yesterday. I stream the lectures. I upload the condensed versions of the lectures. I stream my problem sets, and I also, in my Discord link below, post just a weekly, or whenever I complete a week, I'll post an updated thread in the CS50X Discord channel, and with all of my notes, what we learned that week, just a general recap, also with links to all of my resources, my personal notes, my problem sets, all that kind of jazz. So if you're interested in that, join the Discord linked in the description below. And thank you guys so much for joining me here. For those that are new, my name is Michael. I graduated college in 2021. I have a BS in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I am a formulation chemist. I have worked at a biotech company. I graduated back in 2021 and I've been working ever since. And yeah, it's been a great role so far. And we're just teaching ourselves Python every day after our 9 to 5 job for the past about 6 months. We've been doing this, and we've come quite far in 6 months, and we got a long ways to go though. And I just am having a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for joining me. So we are on line 171 here of our. So we're in the edit item here. Item. So we provide the item. So we call find edit item. Item search menu. So in our item search menu, so we say these are our types that we can have. If it's item number, we get user input and int it. Okay. Found item, all items, user input, return found item. So it did find the item. Okay, it did find the item, it just errored out on trying to display the item number. So in here, sorry, find edit item here, call, or sorry, in edit item, here, doesn't like this. So we call item, which is a dictionary, key item number. Like that. So that's why I converted this to stir in here. Now if we go here, yes, items JSON, okay, inventory, find edit item, item number 1, item number, okay, so now we're getting this error. So on 950, we're getting these errors because we're trying to convert our process over from CSV to JSON, and so we're having to, I already had been working on this for a long time, so we're having to go back and having to edit stuff, but in the long haul it'll be very beneficial because it'll just be easier. So all items, found item, all items, user input in line 950. My item search menu. $9.50 here. User input is an integer here. So we need to just get user input, except if a value error. So I don't even think we need this. You can just get the user input. Hold on, so we'll keep this actually, and what we'll do is we'll convert the user input to an integer, but then we'll convert it back to a stir, just so we can test to see if they actually gave a number. So type user input must be a number, a whole integer, right? And we'll continue. Hey Tim, welcome. How's it going? Hey Big Mike, love the glasses. Any leak code today? Yeah, we might get to a problem here in the near future. I wanted to just get some work done on our project. A lot of people have been asking me in the chat and in the Discord about projects and how to work on projects. So I think a lot of people have been interested in kind of seeing, workflow on live projects for like kind of a beginner project. I know it looks like a lot's going on, but you guys, I'm not doing anything too crazy. I'm using just simple while loops to continually get user input. I'm jumping like menu to menu depending upon those inputs, right? I'm using match cases and if-elifs. I'm using try excepts. All these things were covered in Python CS50P. So we're making a small business manager right now where um, you can manage an entire kind of like I guess a small business, like for lack of better, like just in the name. Be from items, expenses, business information, and the like. Thanks so much for joining me, the King. I appreciate you jumping in. Yeah, no problem. Srinit, I appreciate you coming in and saying hello. That's awesome, dude. I wish I had that kind of dedication. No worries. Well, join me alongside me here. If I'm streaming, then you can learn alongside, whether it be from what I'm doing. I'm not conveying. I'm not a teacher in this. I'm learning. So if you do happen to learn from my learning, that is fantastic. I'm not teaching at all. This is not teaching because I'm a beginner trying to teach myself this. But if you do happen to learn, then that is fantastic. But you can also, independently work on stuff, just alongside me and kind of use it as a tool to hold yourself accountable. That can be the stream as well, right? I'm imagining groceries with this. Yeah, nice. That sounds like a good plan. Okay, so we were trying to do this so user input, we convert it to a stir now. Because if this is unsuccessful, I mean, it should always work, but they have to give a number in order to get the int to convert and then convert it back to a stir. Yeah, so perfect. So now if we go here, yes, inventory, find edit by item number 1. Okay, so now user input. Well, maybe we shouldn't stir the user input here per se. Let's just go ahead and stir it down here so we can keep the functionality of our length check for actually doing the like, right, because our item numbers start from 1 and go up to and equal the length of the keys, because all the keys are the item numbers. So if if you have 10 keys, you have 10 items, which is really cool. I like the retro UI you got for the business app. Awesome. You talking about just the terminal UI we got here? I appreciate that, Arrow. Thank you so much for joining. If you guys have suggestions or things you think would be cool to implement, feel free. This is a community project we're working on together. How can I teach myself this? Yeah, if you guys, it seems like there's a lot of beginners in here, so I'll just quickly introduce myself. I know I already did, but hello, my name is Michael. I'm 26. I graduated college back in 2021 with a degree in human bio and or biology and a minor in chemistry. I worked as an undergraduate teaching fellow for the chemistry department at my university. I worked as an undergraduate laboratory instructor with the graduate students so I was really involved in chemistry and science in general at my university, which really kind of helped create a passion for just learning and education and that, right. And so but I graduated in 2021 with my degree, and I got a job as a formulation chemist for a biotech company, and I've been doing that ever since. But that was 3 years ago now, 4 years ago now. And so about 6 months ago, I've been, thinking, man, I really, I've been working, and I kind of lost that side of myself where I just continue my education and reading and learning things. So I decided, I really want to learn how to program. I find computer science to be really interesting, and it is, something. It's being a physical scientist myself and making chemicals and reactions and stuff. I think it's just crazy that we've leveled that up so much that we can actually model them now, like in software and things like that. We've created physical science into a technical science, which is incredible in my opinion. And so we've been teaching ourselves every day for the past 6 months. I stream every day at around 7 p.m. PST after my 9 to 5 job as a chemist, and I stream for a minimum of 2 to 2.5 hours probably. Sometimes I go 3.5 to 4 hours. On weekends, I go 5 to 6 hours sometimes. So I'm really, really just passionate about this, and I've kind of developed like a hobby and kind of for it. So if that's something that you're like interested in and wanting to follow along, feel free. I have a Discord linked below where I have compiled all of my study resources into one location for you guys to also follow along, kind of like a roadmap, completely, completely free. I would never charge for something like that because I'm a beginner in doing this, and I, it would that's a scam. Don't be paying for stuff like if from other beginners. Teach yourself this, but if you happen to learn alongside me, that is fantastic because that is, we're doing this together. So I started with Harvard CS50P about 6 months ago. That was my first introduction to programming. I'd never written or seen a line of code before. And I compounded that course with this book, Python Crash Course. I provide this in my Discord with my notes and all of my solutions to the in-text practice problems. And as well as I'm going back through and uploading the video solutions to my channel for these. Um, just to also help my personal learning and just me repeating these beginner solutions over and over and over again, it helps my syntax, greatly. It's I've been able to learn and compound with harder material in these other courses because I'm not worried about the beginner syntax anymore because I really compounded the material with a lot of practice, a lot of reading, and it might have been repetitive over some topics like lists and iteration and indexing, but that stuff was really crucial because it's never gone away and it's only gotten harder. That's what she said. But yeah. So I provide everything in my Discord for this. And we read a lot of other books right now. We're reading data structures and algorithms in Python. We just finished chapter 8, trees. I read this book entirely live on stream, word by word, just like the Python crash course. And we do all these examples together, all these practice problems at the end of the chapters. And I have a repo on my GitHub for all of that information as well, and in the Discord. So like if you have any questions, I'm all ears. Feel free to ask away. But right now we're just getting some practice working on our project because we want to keep working on our projects as well. Yesterday we watched a lecture in CS50X. We'll work on that problem set soon. We are a little ahead of schedule though, so we have a little bit of time. But I want to keep going on our projects too. Okay, so now this should. Oh, let's get some chats here. Um, I always wanted to dive in deep into it. Yeah, and so hopefully that little rant helped, that little yap session helped enlighten some of my insights here. Row of code. How long did it take you to get the fundamentals of Python down, or is it still a bit confusing? I get tripped up on some of the syntax things, but overall, I'm becoming quite, you know, I preface this very lightly, but I'm becoming quite literate in just basic syntax to where I'm not getting tripped up on what I'm doing over some iterations or what's going on. Like I'm kind of being sort of able to write now like as if I was writing basic English. Um, in a sense, now Python is basic English, so it kind of helps that way. But yeah, I'm no longer really like saying how can I do this in code if I have an idea. If I have an idea, I'm able to kind of work my way through it. Obviously getting faster and faster. But I did notice, I have significantly noticed that my debugging skills have greatly improved. I'm able to spot errors, like kind of figure out what is going wrong, like within certain contexts of these messages. Before I would spend hours searching through for little things, and now I can spot them pretty quickly, just like within my own writing. So but yeah, sorry, yapping a lot over here. Thank you guys so much for joining me, though. Appreciate you guys jumping in. The channel has been really growing. If you guys are liking it, you can, feel free to throw a thumbs up. It's really been, picking up in the algorithm on YouTube, and we've been really growing here. Um, and yeah, do you think you'll dive into OOP eventually? Well, lucky for you, my friend, we already are there. All of this is OOP. We are pulling all this information from classes that we've already been creating, and doing this, all object oriented already with, instance variables and objects for expenses, items, and the business itself. So yeah, it's coming together here. Uh, How long did it take me to get the fundamentals down? I would say I started right at the beginning of summer 2024. I finished Python CS50P at the end of the summer, and then I would say about another 3 month, another 2 months after that, I didn't get really start getting comfortable in my project, like in my projects, and really kind of understanding really kind of everything I was doing until about November-ish time. So it took good, 4 to or so months to get there. But at the beginning, it was very part time. Don't be fooled. I didn't start really ramping up my studying until around November when I kind of caught that fire. How much time do you dedicate to learn a day? Yeah, I usually do around 2 to 2.5 hours every day. Sometimes I even do 3.5. But I'm constantly thinking about this all day. Like, and when I get stuck on a leak code problem, I'm thinking about it all day at work. When I'm editing these videos, I'm re-listening to the lectures. When I'm editing when I'm interacting on the discords, I'm going over. So really, it's more of like honestly like a 24/7 kind of thing, because I've kind of really developed like this community aspect to really aid in that studying. If you kind of try to break that bridge of making it feel like studying, then it really helps to just make this more of like a lifestyle kind of thing where, oh, it's just coding is now just a part of my lifestyle. So it's no longer just like a grueling thing. It's just kind of like habitual. It's just kind of like what I do, right? So I like the Discord, my video editing, my watching these back, interacting with you guys. All of it plays into compounding these materials further. So I think that's also something that's really helped, and I did that on purpose. It was my kind of theory of like I think it would help, and it does. Is he making a replica of AS400? I'm not sure what AS400 is, though. Critty Kusi, you have to let me know what that is. Do you live near RTP and NC? No, I don't. Sorry about that. Thank you, Enzo. I appreciate you. Thank you, Roa Code. Thank you so much for those kind words. You're trying to learn CS and challenge yourself. Well, what's your background? Do you have a? Tell me more about yourself. I'd love to hear about it. Hey, Duram, hello. Can you help me? Do you know anything about Kotlin multi-platform? No, man. I'm a noob over here. Sorry, man. I'm making mobile apps and need a RESTful API. This API needs to connect to Firebase, but I don't know how the language I use it is. Sounds like something maybe for the almighty orb. The Jippity might be able to help you out with that one. Yeah, when learning becomes your hobby, there's no such thing as studying. Exactly. That's what we're doing here. So thank you guys so much for joining along. All right, my electric blanket here is really warm. Okay, let's try this out. Now I think it should get past that length now. So yes, inventory, uh, find edit item number 1. Cool, perfect. So now we're actually getting this back. So now we're pulling item number back 1, and displaying the item to us. So what I wanted to do though, hmm, so what I wanted to do though was, we're returning the found items, or item number, returning the found item, right? Because we're using our item number as our key values, and then the actual value of that key as the object, and so we're able to access these in constant time in our database, which is really nice. Are you going to keep this in the terminal or add a GUI? Yeah, funny enough, we spent about an hour or an hour and a half working on a GUI here. We got like a scroll bar here for our inventory menu. We have expenses and settings tabs over here. So, I mean, we have something here, but it's not too like fantastic. But we are going to be getting into some more front end stuff in the CS50X course and just in general. So maybe we should really crack into some Django and Python and backend, and really learn that, and start that. I'm just weary to kind of get into too many things at once. I really like to kind of check things off before moving on to and stacking things. I don't want to become like a typical college kid that's just getting stretched out so thin, not their fault, but just because they have so many classes. I don't need to do that here. This is completely independent, so I only should move on when I'm comfortable to move on. And so, um, so maybe when we finish the CS50X course, we'll go ahead and I wanted to get a working 1.0 version of the terminal interface version, and then in 2.0 we can try to do a front end with maybe Python to Django backend, and or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm it's just spitballing here, and we could, after we finish the CS50X course, and get some familiarity with that. So if you're interested in that, stick around. We got a lot coming here in these next few short months. We really are leveling up quite quick here in our knowledge. I mean, we learned about pointers and memory yesterday in the lecture and really picked it up with you guys. It was awesome. Uh, you guys are awesome with all the chats. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you're enjoying, feel free to throw it a thumbs up. It really helps. If you guys, it gives me feedback if you guys are enjoying the stream, and obviously you guys are interacting with me, which is awesome. Flocka, what's your motivation and goal on learning, seeing as your background is from a different field? Really, I'm just trying to compound my skills. I think it would be foolish to get so far in your education and then just stop and then just get stuck in the rut of doing whatever your boss is telling you to do and only learning things that your boss is telling you to learn. Be your own boss in terms of your own education and your own resources and things, and internal resources, for lack of better words. And keep learning. Nothing like think about it. Like it's just crazy. Like we have Chat GPT, we have all of the internet, but people before us were able to come up with all of this information and do all of this without all of the current things we have. So what's my current excuse? I don't have one, right? If right, the creator of Linux was able to write whatever Linux in his room on his little monitor or whatever back in the 90s or whatever, whenever it came out, I don't know. What's my excuse now if I have a pocket professor at my disposal that can answer any question of mine? Like, there's no excuse. Like, I really think it just comes down to, honest. And I'm sorry if this offends, but it honestly comes down to maybe being just laziness and being comfortable. You really got to push yourself out and say, I'm going to do this for X amount of time, and I don't care, if I fail or not, because I'm just enjoying the process of doing it. And so, like, that's my problem. I don't really care if I look dumb or don't get the function right or can't solve the leak code problem, because maybe I will the next day. Maybe I will the next day. Like it's okay. Like the material will be there. I'm not in any rush here. So sorry about my rambles. But a lot of people seem to be seeking some advice and to get motivated, and hopefully I can shed some light on my current experiences. So if that helps at all. Um, What do you think on using AI for coding like ChatGPT or new one, DeepSeek? Do you recommend going full or no AI? I use AI in every one of my streams, but I will preface, I do not let the AI show me code 99% of the time. It does no good to show me code unless I'm seriously stuck or trying to learn a new concept. If I want to see an example of some basic code of dog, cat variables, then yeah, I'll have ChatGPT break it down at that elementary level just to help with my own learning. But if I'm coming up with a function on my own, I really advise not asking it to do it for you. Or if you want really help, ask it. Say, hey, please don't show me code, but here's what I currently have. Treat it as if you're talking to your professor. Your professor would never write your code for you, or your TA would never write your code for you. So approach it that way. Prompt the GPT, the AI with, hey, please don't show me code. I would like to learn this on my own. Can you walk me through step by step based on what I currently have? And then it'll say, yeah, give me what you have. Then you'll show it and say, okay, maybe you should, try this on this line. And, what does this tell you on this line? And then you'll probably have a conversation with it. And by doing that, it mimics actually like a real life person. And I know it's kind of sad talking to your computer or whatever, but it's what we, it's what we have at our disposal right now. Did you do any learning prior to the CS50 course? No, CS50P was my first course ever 6 months ago. But right now we're doing the CS50X course live on my channel. So if you're wanting to take that course with me and with Trash Ketchum, who just joined the stream. Hello, Ryan. Welcome in. How you doing? He's doing the course as well. He's a little bit ahead of me. I think he's probably starting up the problem set soon. You'll have to let me know how that's going. It looked really cool. I think it was, manipulating images on filters on images. So it looked really cool. You should have some background music. Thoughts? Yeah, I need to get some background music, but Oftentimes, no matter how many times I try to find a non-copyright track, I always get flagged. Even though these streams are not monetized, I always get flagged, and I'm just afraid that one day it's going to get flagged by the wrong person. And so, no matter what, all these compilations that have non-copyright, they always have like one or two that are in there for some reason. So maybe I do play guitar, so maybe I'll make some like soothing little Minecraft tracks in the background that we can play. It would be kind of fun. I don't know. Does it get easier? I would say yes and no. There's always, what I found with programming is there's always going to be something to learn. There's never an end game, there's never a finish line. And that will always be like that forever, in my opinion. Computer science is one of the rare industries that is innovating, I think, at a breakneck pace. And a lot of people, I think, are just numb to that innovation. We've just grown up in it, so we don't really see it at face level, or at we just kind of at what it truly is. And so, you know, I say this all the time, but I'm a physical scientist, and I work with literally like dirt and rocks, and in chemistry, and we have this out of dirt and rocks. It just blows my mind. So, really try to keep that cup half full mindset. But, no, yes, it does get easier because you compound on those easier concepts. But no, it doesn't get easier because there's always something harder to learn. How's the CS50 source on the CS50 course on the difficulty level? I would highly recommend, if you are a brand new beginner, to start with the Harvard CS50P. Python is just really good at getting you into just general programming syntax. It doesn't use a lot of, the semicolons and things like that, and it's not clean, but it just is very plain in terms of what it does. And it's just, I liked it because it got me familiar with how to write program, like just the actual, you know, concepts. But then I compounding that with CS50X now to get, a deeper understanding of what's going on underneath with compilation, with, machine code, and what's going on actually in C with, where Python generates from. So it's a great, I'm taking it one step further now. So I think it's great to start with Python and then go one step further into C. Now, people can do it vice versa or whatnot, but I liked learning the syntax first and then the concepts later, so I wasn't struggling with the syntax while trying to learn the concepts, if that makes any sense. It makes the concepts a lot easier to learn, like algorithms and memory, when you're not struggling with syntax. When you're able to kind of write fluently, or at least at some sort of basic level, or at least somewhat, you know, it makes it a lot easier to continue compounding, from my experience. I'm actually in uni as a cybersecurity major, so I do a bit of coding, but I ask because for doing this as a hobby on the side for your job to progress in 6 months than a lot of beginners. Yeah, honestly, I really am not trying to. This is not a gloat or a brag or anything, but a lot of people have been stopping in and telling me that I've been programmed, but at least what they see on my screen and what I'm doing is at a level that they're kind of shocked by. And I just have no perspective of it though. Like, I have nothing to compare this to. I don't have any colleagues that are computer science majors besides you guys, obviously. Thank you guys. But I really have no perspective or any sort of comparison, so I don't know. I just kind of go by what you guys tell me, and some people tell me that they have junior friends in college that are like juniors that still don't know how to like code, basic Python, which is really interesting. And we talked about this quite a bit, but what do you guys think about that? Are you planning to pursue a degree in CS? Yeah, I already have a degree in, chemistry and biology. I currently work as a professional, and have a job, and at a biotech company, and it's great. But I'm not opposed to any open doors. I would never close an open door. I would always, take a peek and see what's on the other side. You never, life, take whatever comes at you in life. But this is just for fun, I'm treating it as that way, so whatever does come down the road is just a cherry on the top. The reason that is so good is because later on, if you need to, you can make C modules for your Python, so you need more speed. Yeah, exactly. Like, I wanted, yeah, exactly. Like I wanted to know what's going on in the hood so I can have a better understanding further of Python itself, right? If I was going to kind of use Python as my main kind of language, really, just because it's what I picked up on now. I'm not saying I'll only stick with it. We are learning C and things like that, but for the time being, I wanted to know what truly was going on. I wanted to develop like a mastery in this, and in what now I know that some of you might be chuckling, oh, this kid is trying to develop a mastery in this, good luck. But no, truly, I wanted to try to develop a serious, solid understanding of this before I moved on to other things because um, from my experience, like what I've been doing is really compounding those beginner concepts before moving on. It's really shown to be very helpful. Kenny, I appreciate you for coming in and leaving a comment. Hey, dude, how's it going? I just graduated May with a BS in CS. Oh, awesome, dude. Congrats. It's very true that not only juniors, but even seniors can't write basic code. It's a lot worse now with ChatGPT. Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's, uh, I say this all the time. I give the students the benefit of the doubt because, like I said, with, with computer science, I think innovating every month, every week, every 6 months, it adds on like another class or another sector or another something that you have to focus on in college, and that just spreads you out even more. And so I really feel for computer science graduates because unlike any other science, maybe besides maybe healthcare, they are spread so thin because they have to learn so much in such a short period of time, like you would at like medical school. That's the only thing I can kind of compare it to in terms of the rigor. I have a family member who's at medical school and he's in the trenches right now. But what's your guys' experience if you guys are computer science majors? I'm all ears. Like if you guys have suggestions for things I should do or the directions I should go. I'm just coming at this just throwing darts on a board blind. I don't really, I'm just doing it whatever I think is fun and continuing on and keeping that mindset. But I also want to make sure I'm doing the things that is necessary to be successful in today's current environment as well. Um, and also, if you guys are CS majors, and tell me about your experiences and about like I'm all ears. I love to hear about that stuff. But anyways, that's so now we are getting the items back here, which is good. So, but we have the found item here, which is airing out. Why did we error out here? Yes. What's going on with this little lag? Is it printing something? Why? What's printing right there? Something's printing right there on startup. Save file, print. Are we printing something in here? Revenue, print here, and this is happening. Get rid of that. I can see it happening really fast. Okay, let's go. There we go. There we go. Now it's gone. Inventory. All right, we can add a new item. Test 2. Um, cost 1. Size large. Use today's date. Yes. Quantity is 1. So right now the item's JSON that's loaded in now. And we can go find edit item number, right? And now we can access this item in constant time no matter how many items are here because we're accessing the key of this hash. So, or I don't know if that's what it's called or whatnot, but so if we go 2 here, this pulls that item here, right? Which is really cool. So now what I want to do, so if I go name, update name, new name, test, right? So this is trying to override attributes. We need to actually override. We need to edit these for not overriding attributes. I mean, the other option is we take each. We would have to do. We'd have to take the object when we get it, convert it into an object, edit the instance variable, then convert it back into the JSON and save it inside. I mean, we could do that. We would only want to do that, though, for the specific item highlighted. We wouldn't want to do that for every item in the database on launch because that would do an operation O of n times over the cross of every attribute. So it would be like O of n times, whatever. So we would just have to do it for the single when brought up into the edit here. It would convert this item into the object and then display it as such. So that's probably what we'll have to do. I like that idea. What do you guys think? Um, Joseph L, thanks so much for coming in and leaving a comment. I appreciate you for joining me here. How you doing? Oregon State University has a good online post-bac CS program, so you only have to take the core CS classes. Yeah, actually, I was looking at the Oregon State University post-bac program. I heard some rumors though about it and some research on like Reddit and stuff. I don't know how much you can trust really, but they were kind of like removing um, like its companion. I don't know. Its validity with the actual Oregon State computer science program. Like it was a separate degree. It became now a online certificate degree rather than a Oregon State bachelor's degree, from what I understand. Do you have any information on that at all? Because I was kind of wanting, if it was going to be an Oregon State bachelor's degree, I was like, yeah, that sounds like a really great option. But if it was kind of like a I don't know if it is like a boot camp or like a kind of degree. I wasn't really like super gung ho on that one. Insomniac. Python is heavily used in data science and machine learning. Probably not all CS grads want to go down that path. Yeah, that's true as well. They probably a lot of people I think want to do like what that front end stuff as well. I'm I'm really not that interested in the front end stuff, honestly. I like designing, I like art, I like drawing, I like doing the thumbnails and stuff, but uh, just not super much or super much. Oh my gosh, not a lot. Python is the most popular language as of right now. It's my favorite. Awesome, Flacco. Me too. Insomniac. Most people I know in machine learning or data science aren't even CS grads. They come from different backgrounds and use Python. Well, here we go. Here we go. We're cooking now, Insomniac. We are moving. That could be us eventually. We'll see. Hey Victor, welcome. I'm a computer science major in uni and took an introduction to CS course in Python. Now I'm learning C, but it seems like from your code you have surpassed our course materials, OOP. Yeah, I'm currently doing OOP in a pretty, basic method though. So if you're learning OOP, this is a great place to kind of, follow along. I'm not doing anything super crazy here. I'm just, doing a basic instantiation of objects with required variables at launch or at creation with some, hidden attributes that can be accessed. They're public. They're not, with that preceding underscore to make them, not public to the user. But everything here, like I try to say, is I'm not doing anything super crazy. Everything I'm doing is taught in pretty basic level Python courses, such as global variables, dictionaries, classes, lists. Like it's just compounding all of these tools I've been given into a project. Like I've been given a bunch of wood, and now I'm building a house. Um, Victor, but no, tell me more about your course. Like, what's going on? When did you start? Are you like a freshman or like a sophomore? I'm learning a C, but it seems like your code or materials, OOP. Yeah, tell me about your experience, Victor. Thanks so much for coming in. Hey, Flacco, welcome. AI has been the downfall of some junior programmers, man. Yeah, uh, I, I really feel for them, honestly, but it does take a certain level of responsibility to use code or AI responsibly. Like I said before, is I preface the AI to not show me code, verbally walk me through step by step, so I'm deducing what it's saying and interpreting it into my own project. It's not doing that for me, and so. But I will have it show me, basic dog, cat, variable level code for examples if I am learning something new, just as I would have been shown in a lecture or something. But when actually putting things into practice and solving things on my own, unless I'm super stuck like I got in the Tideman problem, I will try my best to, or as much, to not see any code from it. I just use words. Just like with my books, right? That's why I like books because it's just you're by interpreting the words and sentences into actual functional programming. It's really helped to develop that thinking style in not only like my debugging and problem solving. That's why I like books so much. In all honesty, is because I'm converting that English language into programming language rather than like watching videos as much and seeing things kind of done for me. Um, Lots of comments. You guys are awesome. Punchy, appreciate you for coming in. I like that name. You're awesome. Thanks for stopping by. I'm a CS major too, and we have written coding exams. Oh, you guys like write them on paper. That's really cool as well. I bet that's hard. Is that hard to not actually like test? Can you guys like how do you I always wonder that if you have like written paper exams, is there no opportunity to like test your program? Like I feel like with programming, if you have like a final that's about like a certain function or something, I think it would be, you know, shouldn't you have the ability to put your function through or your algorithm through various tests, like right there in the testing center or whatever, to see if you're right or not? I feel like that is applicable to the real world, no? But is that just not how school works, I guess? Hey, Von Trail, you should learn AI. Yeah, we have a Python machine learning book hidden back here that we're going to get into. I was just honestly a little bit weary of starting that process because I'm just not super strong in my advanced mathematics. I got up to Calculus 1 and some higher level statistics courses in college for my science courses, but that's been a long time, and so I really wanted to kind of do a refresher before I got too deep into there because, like I said, I don't want to be you know putting the training wheels back on when I'm trying to learn topics where I'm going downhill. Like I'm really trying to whatever. I'm not sure. I just use Python for data. I'm a mechanical engineering major. Awesome, dude. That's really cool. What kind of work do you do, Insomniac? Do you like do any like machine like actual like robotics or things like that? Or do you work with like aqua flows or I don't know, like dams or I'm not sure. Kenny, I do agree with what others have said. Your code is quite nice. I do recommend breaking your code into other files. Makes it easier. Yes, Kenny, exactly. I have been. You're preaching to the choir, my friend. I have been, shaming myself because I have gotten this project to a point where I'm having a hard time going back, right? It's becoming so big now that by organizing it, it's becoming more work than just continuing on, which is not the right approach. I should have been organizing it from the start. Now, I will say this is a lot more organized than my other two projects. I have been learning from my previous mistakes. Like before, I was intertwining a lot of my databases with my main file here and with my class, my single object instantiations, and it just was causing a lot of back and forth, work between my actual script and my actual data structures. So I I have learned from that, and now I'm using and now not appropriate, but like it's not super appropriate, but global variables that are loaded and saved on. When running at various points, obviously, hopefully in the future we can get some sort of external, maybe cloud database when we learn about that. But we are just currently bound by our current knowledge. I appreciate though the kind words, Kenny. That's really nice. Yes, I should have done like an inventory pie file where all of my inventory menu related things are in there. I mean, I still can do it. It's just I'm a bit lazy. I'm not gonna lie. I've been preaching don't be lazy, but when push comes to shove, after doing all of this, I can be a bit lazy. Um, okay, lots of comments. You guys are awesome. Love interacting with you guys. Uh, Kratruski, I've been using Python with PostgreSQL. Is it ProgressQL? POS? POSSQL? um, you have to let me know more about that. I'm not sure what that is. Victor, one project we had for our introduction course was using nested for loops to loop over the indexes I, J, and matrices. This was the most difficult part of our projects. Maybe try coding for matrices. Yeah, in our CS50X course, we just did a project with that was the Tideman and the runoff problem in week 3. The Tideman one was the optional, really the harder, more challenging problem. That one had a little bit more, um, you know, technicality with it, but both of those problems used a two-dimensional matrix and using I and J loops. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I get you, man. That must have been hard to like really kind of think about over on paper though, if you were really trying to like do it live on like in a study hall or on like a testing center or something. Now they expect you to understand everything and run through it in your head, helping to combat graduates not knowing how to code. Interesting. I bet there's a lot of like negative feedback now that like maybe universities are their 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 names are being tarnished in a way because they're having graduates that aren't being super successful in the field. Maybe. What do you guys think about that? Um, is that the Why Machines Learn book you just showed off? If not, what's the name? This book is called Python Machine Learning Community Experience Distilled by Sebastian Rashchaka. Rashchka. Rashchka. I just picked this up off Facebook Marketplace for like $10 from a lady. Being in the California Bay Area, where there's a lot of tech people, there's a lot of books that go on Marketplace that I'm tempted to go pick up. Do you have comments in your code? No, I'm also not that great at comments either. Or what are they called when you have at the beginning of the function that you have like a descriptor of what the function does? I'm really I need to, I keep telling myself I need to get better at that, but I'm also pretty good at thinking about the edge cases though for things like when users are because I've been constantly dealing with user input for every single one of my projects, so I'm pretty I've been okay and decent at kind of thinking about those edge cases, but having comments and whatever those strings are that are at the beginning of functions would definitely help. I want to take a session one day, go through and just write them all for my program here. Um, okay, I feel like me just chatting here gets a little bit boring, so let's keep programming here. So right, we're able to access these. So now we need to go the edit item function here. So now we're setting size. So we need to go item, access item, quote, item size. So let's see if we can do it like this and if it'll work. Item name. Like so. So let's see if it'll work for the item name here. So if we go into here, inventory, find edit, item number 1, this pulls up item number 1 in our database, right? You can see that verify that here. It has a test and a medium, right? Medium test. Now if I go item name, update name, new name. Oh, yes! Okay, cool. So it is just accessing that dictionary just like that. Cool. So then we can just go item name. Instead of this, go quote cost of good, like here. Now, I will say dictionaries were a little bit tricky to kind of figure out like all of their mechanisms for indexing and key association. I do go back and forth trying to figure out and remember them versus lists and everything. And then this is active. And then we save that file. Okay, so now if I run here, yes, inventory, find edit item number 1, item name, we'll make this blah, cool, that got saved. Item size, set item size to, if I say, right, if I give it one that's not appropriate, I need these sizes. Now I'm going to hopefully write a functionality within the settings, like an item settings menu within the settings of the main menu to actually have these be able to be overridden by the user and saved. And what if the case they don't have, like they're not doing clothing or what they're doing, like whatever other type of sizing or whatever they might have. So item size we'll say is a medium. We'll say, did that get updated? So we'll say item size we'll put here is a extra small. Cool, that got updated right there. We'll say, let me zoom in here for you guys. We'll say cost of good, right? This has to be an integer. If we say ABC, we get error. Please use 0 positive integers. Cost 12, 1256, or 1200. So what's cool about this program that we've got going on is, right, if you think about floats, when we talk about floats in our lectures, floats have various rounding properties that we can't predict on other people's systems, sometimes even on our own. when doing mathematics and other operations. So what we're doing is we're keeping our values in string format for like when they're inputted, and detecting whether that value has a period in there. If it has a period, we're splitting on the period into cents and dollars, converting dollars into whole cents and summing them together. So a trick is if you just remove the period in a or decimal in a U.S. currency and just concatenate the left and the right together, that is the amount of cents. So $12.56 is 1,256 cents. So that's kind of a little trick you can do for doing that currency. And then when we actually display and sum, what we're going to do is convert that back into whole dollars by dividing by what 1,000 or by 100, right? So yeah, really really cool. So I can give a 1234 here, and it'll probably do that. Now we could have done that a couple of different ways. Maybe we could have done like regular expression or whatnot, but I wasn't I haven't done regular expression since CS50P, so we just split on the period and had some other detection for making sure that it was able to convert int on the split of the periods or of the left and the right of the decimal and whatnot. Okay, so that changed the item size section. Well, cost of good is 1,2,3,4 now, right? Because it converted it to whole cents instead of whole dollars. Um, we will, or instead of partial dollars or whatnot, we'll say um, date created. So we'll give 4 date created. We'll say no. We'll give a custom for 2024 dash 10. We'll say it was Halloween 31. Right, that has to be in that format or we get an error and continue this loop. So I'll do that one more time. If we go date created, use custom date with no. If we say ABC, right, invalid input, please required format. So it'll continually do that until we get this the correct formatting. So I'll just go. We'll make it Christmas. We'll go 1225, or we have to do the hyphen 1225, or we have the year first. Sorry, 2024. 1225. So that saved Christmas right there. Date listed, right? When we're doing individual edits, we don't do these edits on within this point. We might want to actually add that in here as well, but these updates happen when you actually convert them into sales. So maybe we should do a detection and say if there is a date listed and if there is a date sold, then also include those in these options. That would be good. So maybe we could write some functionality for say if the key has no value, then don't include it in the menu. But if it has value, then include all of those options to override in the menu would be a good functionality to implement. That's a good idea. I'll remember that. Let me get caught up in a couple chats here. We got a lot here. Insomniac, no, not into robotics right now. Process engineering, manufacturing, also some supply chain, industrial, different from humanoids. Awesome. I actually work with some process engineers at my current biotech company. They work out with fixing a lot of our you know functionalities and with optimizing some processes and things like that. Whether it be with equipment or maybe some solutions and things along those lines. I actually have a process engineer that's assigned to our team that I work with sometimes. That's really awesome. Sorry, I'm starting to get behind on the chats here. My bad, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here. For those that are new, my name is Michael. Thank you so much for joining me. I am a beginner programmer. I've been teaching myself programming for about 6 months through various resources like books and online resources, but mainly books. I really enjoy reading and having to convert that English terminology into actual programming language, and that whole mental process is really helping me to progress forward with all the and additional practice. I have a degree in human biology and chemistry. I graduated in 2021 and I work as a chemist. So I've been doing all of this just after my 9 to 5 job, for the past, I've been doing it every day for the past 2.5 months, but I started 6 months ago. But when I first started, it was pretty part time. So yeah, that's just background. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. I'm a first year in CS, and I feel as a beginner, the content we learned for our CS course was hard. We had all our own tests written. I think they expect you to know if your code will run. Yeah, that's what Punchy was saying. Industrial robotics. Okay. Postgres SQL. Yeah, Kenny, you get my organization. I'm so deep now. I'm like, oh, if I go back and like try to edit, it's just so much work. I should have just bit the bullet up front and did it. But once you start falling down the slippery slope, it's easy to start sliding. So you have to really stay on top of your organization. Now, like I said, this is a lot better than some of my other stuff, but there is definitely room for improvement. Yeah, thank you so much, Kenny. I appreciate you coming in. Hey, Dalian, welcome. I just got in. So you are learning Python as your first programming language. Do you have any do you have a primary language? You're looking at it, my friend. We are been. This is the first thing we started with, but we are kind of diving into C during the Harvard CS50X course that we've been taking live on the stream and completing live on the channel. So if you're interested in that and doing that alongside me, feel free. Hey, Harold, how's it going? Hello, Go Developer here. What's your name, age, country, and what are we doing? Awesome. Yeah, I think I hopefully you caught my introduction a minute ago or so ago. Awesome, Harold. You're from Cameroon. Nice. Sebastian's books are great. Yeah, this is by Sebastian here. So we're going to get into this one soon. The triple quotes is called a doc string. That's right. Doc strings. You need to add comments or I'm going to get lost when downloading this. Yeah, definitely. Before I push this, I'm going to have to go through add comments and doc strings because I want you guys to know what's going on and be able to follow. And I'm probably going to go through line by line and add comments so that other beginners can literally track line by line what's going on and from my, terminology. So I think that'll be really helpful as well. So I will do that when we get closer to pushing this out. Right, Mahan? Is this the view record or what? We got a lot of people in here. It's been popping in here tonight. I really appreciate, it's all thanks so much to you guys, in all honesty. So if you're enjoying, the stream and, feel free to give it a like. It really helps to keep, pushing these videos to new people and growing our community and our Discord link below. And, consider, following along so I can continue to network with you guys and chat. I really like, making friends on here and talking with you guys and learning about your experiences and whether you be working professionals, students, or even younger, trying to see if you want to get into this field, right? It's awesome. I appreciate you guys joining me. Yeah, Stiviker, I appreciate you coming in. We're working on the small business manager right now. So before we're managing our items in CSV format. So we had this CSV going on. We had it really nicely implemented, but I just didn't really like the functionality of CSV, and we were handling our business and expenses in JSON. I tried to write them in JSON. We actually got some working functionality in JSON. It was just a lot cleaner to kind of see these and manage them and understand what's going on. So I'm trying to convert our items from CSV into JSON now. So we're doing some debugging, going back and making sure our features are working appropriately for JSON access rather than CSV. So that's the current task on the agenda right now. Okay, so let's go back into our main program here where we need to go to um, our save and load files here and just remove off the items case here for CSV. So these are going to be gone. We make sure we don't remove the loaded items yet. That's going to be gone. Delete. Okay, open this up. We got to delete all this. Perfect. Okay, and then that was a pain. That hurt my heart to delete because we spent like 2 hours one night working on that function. So, whew. But you live and you learn. We know how to do JSON now, so we're sticking with it. But Yeah, this function took me like forever to write and figure out about a couple months back. Oh, you guys are right. Sorry, I get caught up. Are you guys are we gonna work on the project the whole day, or do we have other plans? That is a you'll enjoy CSVs much more if you use the pandas library. That's the entire learning lesson in itself, though. Yeah, definitely. People have talked about the pandas library, and we'll have to get into that as well soon. If I was any smarter, I'd write an app, but that would comment your code for you. Yeah, that'd be a good idea, right? I wonder if there's something like that. There are extensions that do that for you. Yeah. Okay, well, I wanted, so we got this implemented, but I wanted, so let's just try one last thing real quick. If we go items, inventory, find, edit, if we go by name, what happens? If I go test, so right, we don't have the name implemented really quickly. So let's go find, edit, expense, find, edit, no, sorry, not find, edit, expense, find, edit. So this is the edit item. No, we don't want to edit item. We want to find edit on option 2 for by name. So option 2 is here. We need to say item name, found items, item search via item name. So item search menu is here. So these are all our search types that we have. And then we are, if type is item number, do that. If it's item name, found items here. We get user input. We convert it to a stir. For key value in all items.items, if value dot item name equal to user input dot title, found items append the value. If you have found items, return found items. Name, date created. That's why I have, because I wanted to try to not have this duplicated, right? It's kind of doing the same thing, but I'm specifically saying date created here, and then item name goes here. I mean, I could make a variable, but it's okay. So we have item name there, and then we need to do here for date created as well. Like that. So now we should be able to search for item name and date created. So if you guys look here, we have items here. We created this date here. So if we search by this date created, we could have multiple objects. So we gather those and then return them back all together is what's going on. So if I run here, yes, inventory. Let me zoom in here. Right, so if we go to our item menu here, right, if you go find edit item by item number, we search one, we pull up that one. Perfect. You go back to menu, great. Find edit item by item name. Now if I give, this is test, now if I give test here, it'll automatically title this. Found items.item name. Okay, so it doesn't, okay, I need to change that right really quickly. So give me 1 second here. This is in line 139. So we're doing this here. We need to access this because I'm just accessing the first one found just to get reference of it to say this is the item name found, because the user can't deduce different items if they have the same name. So we had to also provide to the user the other attributes so that they can select the specific item they want. So if we just said these are all the items with item name test or item name dress or item name whatever item it is, then how would they know which dress they want to choose from if they had duplicate names but they all had different item numbers in the backend? Well, we needed provided those for them, and this is how we're displaying them. So item number item name, and you'll see what I mean here in a second when I um, do this really quickly. Ooh, like so. That, and then like that, right? So now when I search by name, and then I need to do the same thing here really quickly. Thanks you guys for bearing with me. Appreciate you guys. If you guys are working on something, let me know what you're working on. What you guys working on out there? Item, quote, date created, and then item number here. Like so. Cool. So now if we look up this and go into the program, let me zoom in for you guys. Inventory, find, edit item. If I go by number, we still get the item number 1 if we look at that up. If I go back to main menu, I search by item number, find, edit, item number 2, we pull up item number 2. Great. That happens in constant time. It's really fast. It's awesome. So then if we go back to menu here, if we go item search by item name, if I type in test, one item found called test, right? That was this part right here, right? Item found with name, found items index 0, item name. So I'm just pulling the first one found, referencing the name as just like this is, because they all have the same name. So I just reference the first one to say this is the name that was found. Right? Because I didn't have it saved anywhere else really within this local scope. So I had to use it, had to pull it from the first value. And then I'd give them the name that relates to the number. So that now they can select that this is test, item name is test, and the number for this item is 1. I select this one and it pulls that item back to me. So if I were to go ahead and say, let's go add item here. Let's make item name dress, right? Like it was like a dress or a shirt or whatever. Cost 1, size medium, today's date yes, quantity. Let's say we have 5 of these, right? Cool. So our items, right? Each item that gets loaded in gets a new, right? We have a dress here that's created. It got loaded into our items.json here, dress, and it got duplicated. But notice we have that functionality going on where our item numbers are dynamically increasing for each new item that is created. Which is really cool as well. So it's duplicating everything but that item number. And so, because it's individual items, but they have the same. So what if we found just 2 on the rack that we like? But we need to. We don't want to. We need to differentiate them by item number, but they have the same, attributes or whatnot. Um, would you recommend the Python crash course? Oh, for sure. I 100% recommend Python crash course if you're looking for like a way to fill in some gaps in just your basic terminology and syntax. This is a great way of supplying you with just some general tools and methods and functionality for getting kind of to a similar level that I am. I really this was a huge game changer in my learning it. I had a lot of questions after CS50P. I had a lot of things I wasn't sure about, and this just really helped to break it down, show me examples line by line in very simple terms, and then also give me practice problems similar to the examples to also try over again. I have a link to, I have the PDF for this book in my description below, in my Discord in my description, along with my notes and other resources as well. If I were you, you'd probably search letter by letter and then show the top 10 results. This way, if nothing's found, you would get similar items. That's what I was wondering as well. Like, I was thinking like, well, like, is there like a keywords or like a way to iterate through the names and detect like, but like, how would you pull, like, make like a probability or like a ratio? Like, if the user has typed in a name with 30% of the characters that are in an actual item name then provide that item. It would have to be something like that, like, or but then I just thinking, how could you do that fast though? Because you have to do that operation over every single name. I mean, you can make it the key, right? You could like swap out the name for the key here, and then I'm not sure. Thank you, Kenny, for stopping in. Feel free to jump in tomorrow or any other day. I would love to chat with you again and hang out with you more. Thanks so much for coming in. Have a good night, man. Appreciate you for stopping by. You're awesome. Cool. So now, right, we have dress, multiple items dress. So if I go to find edit item by item name, if I type in dress, I pull all five items that we generated with item name dress, and I show you that this is item number 3. So that the user then can go to their item in their inventory, their physical location, say that this was item number 3 on the tag, and then say, okay, I wanted this one. Oh, I wanted actually this one, right? 4. And that pulls up. Okay, so that is wrong though. No, that is right because number 4 was item number 6, right? I just pressed, it was associated with 4. So I go back to menu, find edit with name, dress, right? That's item number 6 indicated by the option 4. That pulls up item number 6. Weak idea could be using dictionary and point system if T in the item +1. If T in the item +1, if TV in +2, if telly +4, you can search for search algos. Weak idea could be a dictionary and point system. Oh, a point system, like you get a score basically if it's T is in the item +1, if TV +2, if telly +4. Yeah, we'll have to look up some search algorithms. Because I really don't know how we would do that fast. Cool, so that handles that, and we can edit all those attributes. Now if we go to find edit item by date created, if I give today's date of 2025, so what happens if I give ABC here? Not found. So I need to change this function. Okay, this is wrong. So my date created, whenever I'm asking for a date created, item search menu for date created. Item search menu, if it's date created, we're not going to do user input. We're going to get set date created function. Just convert that to a stir. Like that. So now if we go here, yes, inventory, find edit by date created. Now we get item date created. What? Hey, Ran1, I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, Python's just a programming language. It's a higher level programming language. A lot goes on under the hood, but you can do a lot with it, like in terms of data management, anything really. Thank you so much for coming in. So, hey, Sniper Jaguar, we're making a small business manager right now. So it takes in items, expenses, and a business and can actually generate, reports for businesses based on their inventory, current statuses, and like live statuses within the program and stuff. So it's kind of like a cool, interface for like someone that maybe not knows how to manage like inventory and expenses and various, things like in business, like tax stuff and all that stuff. So we're getting the set date created function. So we need a prompt though, right? So set date created has no prompt. choose today's date with create menu. Why is it, am I calling input? I'm calling set date created here. Press Q. If I press Q, I go back. So if I go inventory, find edit, item date created. Okay, so I'm getting some sort of input call beforehand. Set date created. Oh, I'm getting here user input. Right, I was trying to wrap all of this in this user input up here for quitting out, because I didn't want to have it inside every single function, or every single type. What should we do? Because I'm getting item number. Let's see here. Sorry, I got distracted. So right, we're doing date created, set date created here. So I guess I'll just have to wrap this. I don't really want to, but okay, whatever. We'll take this, Command X. Hold on. Press Q to go back. Okay, yeah, Command X. We'll say here, this here, like that. Right there. I'll take this. Command X. Oh, nope. Command C. Here. And V. And then here. Command V. But here, this is going to be set date created, like so. So now if I go in here, yes, let me zoom in. Inventory, find edit item, by item number 1. That doesn't work. Okay, because yeah, that's right. So item number, int the user input here. So what we're saying if it's an item number, press Q to quit, get the input on the type. If the input is Q, main menu, except if you get a value error. Whole integer. So we'll do user input equals user input. We'll int convert it here to try to make sure that they gave a number, so we hit this value error if it doesn't happen, but we need to do it after this call, right? Perfect. So then we don't need to do this here. And then We stir it because it's a JSON object there. Perfect. So then what about name? It already stays a string. I mean, this probably won't ever hit, but it's whatever. I found items, and then here, set date record. Okay, this should work now. One, um, inventory, find edit item, by date created. Use today's date, yes. Perfect. Right? So now that pulled all the items with today's date created. Awesome. Now we select 7 for item number 7. Because funny enough, we generated all these items today. And that pulls that item. Awesome. So now if we go back to menu, find edit item for item name, make sure that one still works. Address. Perfect. 5. That pulls up item number 7 too. Nice. Woo! Yes! Sorry. I've got a lot of chats here, my bad. Brainiac, I appreciate you joining. Are you already in tech, or is this like a learning thing, or just so I can get a job? No, I have a degree in human bio and a minor in chemistry. I'm just doing this for fun. I really enjoy learning about programming and just programming in general. And so I've been teaching myself for about 6 months now, and I've caught quite a passion and fire for this. And so we've been making various projects, doing various courses, reading out of books. So if that's something that you're interested in, we stream every day on the channel, teaching ourselves computer science from scratch. And yeah, so join and follow along if that's something that you're interested in. Thanks so much for coming in, Brainiac. Okay, have you tried to use PyQt for easy of use GUI instead of terminal based would be an idea. I mean, I'm still learning Python myself. I know a few pip libraries. Yeah, so I actually have a little bit of we spent about an hour one day working on, or hour and a half working on a GUI here that we kind of started here just to get some experience with it with Tkinter. It kind of was pretty grueling getting this set up, at least with, it took us, 100 lines of code just to get a window kind of organized here. So maybe we would have to try a different, platform, like you said, like PyQt, whatever, to try a different one. But we did try it, but I wanted to get a working version 1.0 in the client, or in the CLI rather, and then in a version 2.0 we can work on a GUI and actually push that, which would be awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in, Brainiac. Yeah, Mahan shot. He's advertising it up over here. Thank you, Mahan. I know we've been working on this one the entire time, but I really wanted to get this items converted into JSON today. We've been just procrastinating it every day after day, day after day, day after day, and I I today was the day we're finally sitting down and we're converting our CSV items into JSON. So now we can delete that, and now let's go see what happens. Okay, so let's say we're starting this program from scratch and we don't have any expenses or a business, right? Let's see what happens. So as if we're running this program from scratch, from the very first time as someone else. Boom, we enter in. Ooh, it's exciting. We enter into the program. Okay, so would you like to open? Yes. So this should generate in our Explorer here 3 files: business JSON, expense JSON, and items JSON. Okay, here we go. Awesome. Okay, so that's really cool. So we have business JSON here, which preloads with default business name and with no revenue. Woo! Awesome. Okay, so this is so cool when it's all starting to come together here. So we have a business name default that the user can override in settings, and then the revenue that gets auto-generated upon launch. And by default, there is no revenue because you have no items, no sales, so no revenue. Right, really cool. So now if we go into the, let's go into the inventory menu and create some inventory. Right, so in our items JSON here, go inventory, add item, Let's say that we have a, um, what do we have? We have a ACDC band T. We'll make it, yeah, ACDC band T. Cost, let's say this t-shirt cost 10 bucks. Size, um, it's large. Today's date, yes, I acquired it today. Quantity, I have one of them. Boom. Boom, that gets generated in here as an active item. Nice. Now let's go ahead, let's add in one more item. Let's say that we have, item name is flannel or just pants. Cost, let's say this costs $13.25. Size, this is a extra large. Today's date, yes. Quantity, we have 2 of these. Boom. Nice. That got generated, right? Now this says 13.25 here, but this is in cents. It gets converted into whole US cents, so we can keep rounding appropriate for currency without having any like modules or imports or libraries. We're doing it ourselves here. Awesome. It's a powerful library, better than Tkinter. Which one was it again that you mentioned? PyQt5. Okay, yeah, I'll have to look up some stuff on that. Right, so now, right, these are the items that we generated into our business. Now let's say that I messed up on ACDC band T and I said I need to make the cost not $10 but $15. So I'll go find edit item by item, let's say name. Well, I remember I put this ACDC band T. Oh, there it is, item number 1. I'll select it. Boom, there it is. I'll change the name, the cost to the cost is going to be, let's say it was $15. Boom, that got updated there. So I will clean up this display to not be the actual dictionary object, but just display them as they are, like in a clean format. But yeah, that updated right there to 15. Cool. So then if I go back, that'll save right here. You'll see that'll save right here. Boom. Woo! Awesome. So really cool. So now if we go, I don't think this will, if we do view, I haven't updated the view yet. And so that doesn't work right now. But if we go back to main menu, let's add some expenses. So I go 3, add expense, use today's date for the expense because it's kind of crucial to make an expense. You need a date and a price. So yes, and an amount. Let's say we had $75 expense. Description was, let's say it was gas, right? Category transportation. Method credit card. Note none. Okay, if we go to our expense JSON, there it is. Woohoo! So this one also gets a number, but it's hidden down at the bottom because it's not crucial for the expense because the user never knows what the expense number is. That's kind of internal for organizing them. They would know what date it was or the amount or maybe the description of it, so that's how they're searching for them. So then if we go find edit expense by amount, if I type in $75, we pull up that expense that we found. So I need to edit that formatting, but that pulls up the expense. If I go back, if I go find edit expense by date, yes, today's date, that pulls it up. Perfect. So it's the same functionality as the search that was going on for the items. So I'm just reusing all those functions, but just tailoring them for expenses now. So once I had the function made, it was easy just to add like a type parameter to it to make it shift from looking at items to looking at expenses now. So yeah, and then we can edit all those attributes. So if we go back to menu and then find edit expense once more, and then we can search by number if you do have access to it in the database. But usually a user will only know the amount or the date that they bought it, right? Or they made the expense charge. They wouldn't know the internal number. It's never given to them. It's just used for organization. Perfect. So as you can see, this is kind of that clean display that I was talking about where I'm formatting, amount showing that. Like I'll have this display in the items as well rather than the dictionary object. So now right? That works appropriately. So what we can do now, which is cool, is we can go into the settings menu, into the business settings, and edit the business name. We can make the business name, let's say it's, who should we choose from chat? Next person to chat gets the business named after them for this this tester. Who's it gonna be? Hopefully we get somebody quick, or it might be awkward us just sitting here. Should we make it Brainiac? Brainiac Biz. We'll make it Brainiac. He was the last person to chat here. Brainiac's Biz, right? Insomniac, he won. I'm sorry, Brainiac. Insomniac won the chat. Insomniac. Niac. Is that how you spell it? Yeah, Insomniac's crazy fun times. Right. Insomniac's crazy fun times. Everybody wanted. Sorry, Brainiac. No, Brainiac. Oh, we just missed it. No. Sorry, Majid. Yes, sir. Oh. All right. Insomniac's crazy fun times. Boom. And then if I go back to the settings menu to finalize the edits. Woo! Nice. So I have a typo there, but that's okay. So now that takes care of that. So what's cool now, if I go main menu and exit, and I go yes, that saves and overrides that default value of default business name. And then if I launch back in, that stays. It doesn't override. Woohoo! Really cool, really cool. So that stays now, which is really awesome. Let me check my cell phone real quick. I was make sure my girlfriend's all good. One second, guys. All right. So now what we can do though is we have this transactions menu, right? So we can transact inventory into for sale and sold items. So if we go into transactions too, we'll have to search, right? We're in the transactions manager menu, right? So we'll have to search for the item. So by number is currently the only search option we have for the the actual conversion. So we'll have to maybe make it by name and date as well. So here by one, so we haven't actually updated this as what either. So we need to do this really quick so we can show this change. So this was on 262. Here we go. Transact. So item number. Selected. Item dot. Item quote date listed. Date created. Quote date listed, like so. Listing price. Not item date sold here. Sold price, ship method, ship date sold. Date sold. That. 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 Bear with me, guys, really quick. That. One more. That. Business details. Update revenue. Business, isn't it? That's business. Business. Update revenue. right? I'm saving this as business, right? Yeah, business. Okay, perfect. So now, if we come back into this program, go yes, transactions, item search, number one, that'll pull up item number one. If we want to transact item as for sale, we'll press one. Use today's date, yes. Listing price, why did it print that there? Transact item, print date listed for sale. Set a debug there. Okay, so really quickly go back. Yes, transactions, item search one, list item for sale, today's date, listing price. Let's say it was $50. Cool. So now if we go to items.json, now listing price is filled in and so is date listed. If I go item search menu, item number one, if I go list for sale, it's already sold. Oh, I didn't update that part. Shoot. Ugh, come on. Item quote that here so like so. Is there any more items dot? Items dot. Keys. No, that's it. Okay, cool. So now we can run yes. Transactions, item search, number one, list item for sale. Whoops, item number one is already listed for sale because we already just listed it. Cool. So we'll have to, we still have it selected, so now we can transact it as sold. So now we can use today's date as sold, and then sold price of, let's say it sold for $100. We had a delivery method. It was delivery, and I don't have that updated either. Ugh, so annoying. I thought I did item all my items dots. Update revenue. That's why. Item date sold. Increase sold equals sold price, and then add sold price right there. Cool. Oh, hold on. Like that. Like that. Another one's right here. Jeez. They're everywhere. This is what we get for converting, but like I said, guys, it's difficult and annoying right now, but when after the conversion's done, it'll be really useful. Okay, I think that's all of them. So I go yes here. Transactions, item search, number one, list items sold, yes. Sold price 100, delivery, what now? Key error 2025. It's on line 35 of my business class. Self-revenue year. quote 2025. What's key error 2025? Oh, there is no 2025. Amount equals items sold price. Try to get a date sold. If it has a date sold, you have a sold price. So I go items.json, sold price. Here. Oh, okay, so if I update revenue, else this year needs to be there. So we have to say if self dot revenue year, then do that plus equals amount. Else self dot revenue index year is equal to amount. Like that. So now if we go in, yes, inventory, no, sorry, not inventory. Transactions, item search number 1, list item for sale, it's already listed. List item is sold, yes, sold price 100, delivery, gosh dang it, key error still. If self.revenue year, I don't want to access the value behind self.revenue. I want to detect if that key is there. So we'll say if there's, how can I just evaluate if there's if that key is there? So right now I'm saying if self.revenue year, meaning like if there's a value behind this key, but I would have to iterate over the keys. So if year in self.revenue dot keys, right, then do that. Else set the year key and equal to the amount. Perfect. So now we'll go here, yes, transactions, item search number 1, items already listed for sale, sold, yes, 100, delivery, woo! All right, now we're in. So now item number 1 is sold, right? It has a sold date and a sold price. So now what you should see though is if I go main menu, exit, yes, boom, right there. The revenue was generated upon save of this file. So 2025 was detected for 10,000. So if I go ahead and go into my program, go yes, transactions, item search, 2, List item for sale, yes. Listing price, let's say it was 20. Item search, 2. Item for sold, yes, today's date. Sold price was, let's say it was something really big, like 500. And then it was delivery as well. Right? Perfect. Now let's say, right, let's say I don't save here, go back to item menu. Let's say I exit out here. Boom. My item's saved as sold though. So what happens, right? I currently have 10,000 on 2025 and I have two items that are sold. I have one for 10,000 in 2025 and I have one for 50,000 in 2025. So this should increase to 60,000 upon creation right here. So if we go ahead and run the program and I press 1 here, you should see that number change if everything goes good. Woo! Yes! Successful session today, boys. Boys and gals. There are gals out there. Successful session today. Super, super awesome. We successfully converted over our items CSV file completely into JSON format, keeping the item number as the key of these dictionaries and the value of that item number key as the actual item element itself in a dictionary format. And so everything is working appropriately. We're back to square one here, which is really, really awesome from where we started with CSV. So now we have business, expense, and items all in JSON format. We have items being able to be created, listed for sale, and sold. We have expenses being able to be created and edited. And we have business being created on launch, have the ability to override with a custom name, and on every, on launch and on close, we generate a revenue for that session and save it as that current updated revenue at that point in time. So nice, that's really cool. So next thing we need to do though for another session is that within the main file here, when we make a transaction, right? When we make a transaction, so transact item here, right? If as sold, right? We update revenue for that item. Oh, so it's already doing it. Okay. So then if I go, okay, so as soon as I sell, it does that update as well, which is what we observed. Awesome. Mahan says, Michael, I got an idea for the search thing. Super simpler. Let's say you want to search guitar. It starts to search for guitar and string keys. If nothing is found, it does string 0 through n-1. So guitar, then gut, then GUI, then until it finds something. Otherwise, returns nothing. That's a good idea. So like you just continually increment a slice down one less than the length of n and search for that value in case of any typos. Because currently you have to type it in exact. So there is no way to generate, similar spellings or something like that. All right. Cool. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So I know today's session was a working session on the project, but and I know some people like Mahan and other people were really excited and interested in getting into some Leet code today. And I do apologize for not getting into the Leet code today. I can only do so much with the amount of brain power and the amount of time I have. But I just had a lot of beginner programmers like myself. Like this is a channel catered and tailored more towards the beginner programmer, and so like myself. And so I had a lot of people in the Discord and on YouTube reach out to me asking about how I got started with projects, how I go about building them. So I really wanted to provide like a good working session on the project so that I can maybe like say, hey, take a look at this link and watch this video of me working on my project and see if you can learn anything. Because I got a lot of requests for saying, hey, like I have an idea, but I just can't seem to put it to words in the program. I don't know where to start, and it seems like it's a very common thing. People like kind of get stuck in watching tutorials. I personally never really watched any tutorials besides maybe like one web dev one when I was trying to get into that a long time ago. But I quickly faded off that because I found much more enjoyment just building my own things from scratch. Yeah, it was harder, but I just learned a lot more. So, and it was more rewarding too, building something completely unique to myself. So, yeah, which is really awesome. But anyways, I really, really appreciate and thank you guys so much for joining me this evening. I'll be back tomorrow to stream, just like normal, around 7:30 p.m. PST after my job, my 9 to 5, where tomorrow we will take a stab at some more leak code problems, some DSA and Python, and we probably won't do any work on the project tomorrow. Maybe 20 or 30 minutes at the very end if we have time, but we'll shift our focus into more studying for tomorrow. So we'll continue on with chapter 8 in DSA and Python and trees. We'll continue on with R2, maybe R3 and R4 tomorrow. We already completed R1, R8.1, and then we'll also jump into some Leet code, uh, or Neet code rather. Right, we'll jump back into some Neet code here shortly, tomorrow as well. So I promise you guys we'll get into some practice problems tomorrow. People really like those ones. But we also need to continue on with CS50X as well sometime soon too. So this is my Neet code here. So let's go to the roadmap. We currently have completed a few problems here. Maybe we can try to maybe do like a group anagrams medium. It might be pretty tricky. Maybe we could try to, after we get some practice with our DSA and trees here, we could try to take a stab at some of these easy tree problems maybe, to get some practice with those. So tomorrow, please subscribe and follow along if you if you are interested in solving these problems alongside me and learning these. If you don't understand how some code works, you can try to go to Python tutors, give step by step. Awesome. It's a great it's great feedback. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you so much for joining me here. But anyway, you guys, I'll be back tomorrow, just like with regular scheduled programming. We'll be back tomorrow doing more studying into DSA, Python, Leet code, maybe working on the manager, small business manager, but really kind of grinding away at more studying tomorrow and reading, as like normal. But today was a great working session. We successfully converted the small business manager items, storage and functionality into JSON, and fixed all the bugs and all the other functionality with all the features for editing, searching, and accessing those items once they were created in the system, and obviously reading and saving these files as well. So super productive session today. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I will be back tomorrow. Join the Discord and talk to me offline. Get access to all my resources, from the books you see that I've read on stream, from DSA and Python to Python Crash Course, everything from my live notes to my solutions to everything. I provide completely transparent to you guys. I'm really trying to convey a beginner point of view, because I felt that there was a disconnect with people on YouTube trying to portray these concepts to beginners, in a not so friendly manner. And so hopefully I can help bridge that gap, if you are struggling. But at the end of the day, this is just about learning in general. And so if you're here alongside me, then that's fantastic. And I thank you guys so much for joining me. Sorry about my yapping. This was a fun one to talk with you guys. We got a lot of chats, which was really fun. So thank you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.